you. So they want to share what are my expectations for Dante, what I think it's gonna happen, and also talk about a bit about the Devstream 178 that happened during the packs. Starting with Dante, I think that the whole, let's say the ranking of the frame, how good it's gonna depend pretty much on his healing slash defensive ability, because at least on the wiki it says that's gonna be his helmet. If they said it's gonna be it, I just didn't heard it at the time they were talking about it. But if that is gonna be his helmet for sure, the what it's gonna dictate whether he's gonna be a good frame and used by the community or just a frame to get the mastery and just retire forever. It's gonna be that ability. For me, that's what I'm speculating, okay? Now why? Because if that ability is good, we're gonna have a frame that can go endurance. Because if that ability is a piece of crap, then we have a crappy frame. Because he doesn't have any mobility, as far as it looked like. He doesn't have any mobility. Even though he floats, he doesn't have anything for that. He's just, you know, like a stone, a floating stone that doesn't move, really doesn't do a lot. But if we have an ability that scales well, he's gonna have a really good place. As for his damaging and fort abilities, I don't think that's gonna go too far. I think that after some point you're gonna need to prime enemies for that slash to really deal damage, and that's where it's gonna fall off, because it's not gonna be viable to be priming every group every time. And again, the likelihood, if that's his helmet and it's not too nerfed, it's gonna allow a lot of frames to possibly get into endurance much easier. That's one of the points. Now, if it's gonna be a bad ability, the frame, it's likely to be for everyone to get the mastery and just never use it again. I think that's about it. The weapons, I think they're gonna be cool. They're gonna be good. Now for the packs. The packs, I've watched the main parts of it. There is the digital pack, the charities, talking about Dante a bit, the Prex, the whole lore with the Laverian. Then Styanax Deluxe, already talked about this on the previous dev stream. The next prime is going to be Protea. Rebecca talking again about the spoiled universal aura that she's going to have. She looks cool. It's going to be a good frame. Now for the Velox prime, I was not expecting that. Nor for the Okina. Like, what the F? Like, bro, the Okina, I even, like, forgot those weapons existed, And if both of those weapons, especially the Okina, if it doesn't have anything good going for it, like prime effect, let's say, it's gonna be trash. Because what do they even count as Okina? I've already at some point I don't even have it. At some point I had a ribbon for that. Let's check it out on the store. The market. Okina Master Pack. That's probably a dojo weapon, isn't it? There's only the Okina Master Pack. Sharp Sai. What's the stance? Dual daggers. Bruh. Dual daggers are one of the most boring weapon types. Other than the Neferi, of course. Let's take a look on even that, just to compare, because if I saw right, it was mainly slash, right? So it has a potential to be good, but at the same time, the letdown is the stance, because it doesn't have anything guaranteed if I'm not wrong. Oh, there actually is. Holy shit. Holy. I thought this was super, super bad. Huh. Okay. But just having a standard shiny version of the Okina, meh. Meh. And the other thing is the Velox, bro. The Velox. Like, what? Completely forgot this was her signature. Ammo efficiency and rapid reload when emptied. This unusual sidearm cannot carnage all day long. Ammo efficiency is further increased when Protea uses it, her signature weapon. Good status chance, poor critical chance. This is probably gonna be a pretty decent weapon. Mainly weighted for slash. I would guess the status is going up for about the 30%. CD might stay the same and CC going up. Or maybe CC staying the same way and CD going up. Who knows? It's gonna be a decent secondary. For the rest, Soul Frame, don't care. Jade Shadows looks interesting. A quest with Stalker and a bunch of lore. The Ureli Deluxe. I think that is so awful. At least with those colors. That is awful. That looks terrible. 9099, okay. Banstar, okay. Proto Frames. That is an interesting concept. Because so far we have a few proto skins, you know, that they're related to Dark Sector mainly. I think that I can remember only the Volt one on a Dark Sector. Excalibur, of course, is Hayden Tenno. The Nyx is the thing that infected the creature or thing that infected the Hayden frame, the Hayden Tenno. And the Volt one, I just can't remember this thing. I think they maybe they made this one later. I don't even know. But as far as I can imagine, this was their way to get frames and kind of remake them, you know. Oh, I just love the Excalibur concept, but I would like to make some different abilities for him because it's going to be an entire new frame. I just hope the abilities are slightly different, or that at least there is a different ability, because if not, we're gonna have 4 types of Excalibur in the game. Excalibur, Excalibur Prime, Excalibur Umbra, and then Arthur, which is gonna be the Proto Excalibur. We're gonna have 4 Excaliburs in the game. If it isn't anything different, it's not gonna be, you know. And as a person, it's gonna be the second Excalibur, because Excalibur Umbra is already the Dex warrior that I don't even remember the name, if there is a name for him. New teaser. The new teaser, to be honest, I think the new teaser was kind of crap. I'm sorry. I just didn't like it that much. They finally showed Aoi, the Proto Mag, but I just think that that trailer, I don't know, that was kind of bad. I just think. For the Q&A, I was a bit, you know, I wasn't there. I can't talk really a lot about the questions that were asked, but if I had a chance to talk to the developers, the last thing I would have asked them is which frame would they be dating, but you know, that's okay. About changes. So a guy asked about Loki. We aren't getting any Loki changes, and I think that Rebecca's response was a bit vague, and they are really not thinking a lot about it. I've said many times, if you want to make Loki, introduce a new concept for Loki, just do the same thing that they did years ago for Desecrate. Desecrate used to be a press ability. You had one people sacrificing his own gameplay just to be on a corner pressing 3 and just the whole mission would be that for that poor guy, pressing 3 and then just eventually going out and collecting the loot. People don't use it this Loki for disarm anymore because it's just too tedious and there's just so many enemies that would have to be casting that non-stop. Do the same thing for the radial disarm. Make it a toggled ability. Done. You just introduced a lot of possibilities for Loki again. And oh, that would be broken. It would not. The moment they added Overguard in the game, any ability that affects enemies pretty much stopped being OP. Not mentioning something like Zana's Whisper, but what I think that like are the most OP ability when it comes to survival are maybe Mesmer Skin from Revenant, but that doesn't affect the enemies, it affects you. Invisibility, really freaking OP, it affects you, not the enemies, you know, not directly. They just can't find you, but you know, it affects you. It's a buff for your frame. Now, disarming most of the enemies, but not the Eximas, that would still be interesting. Eventually, there would be those, you know, you disarm 50, and then there's 5 or 8 that are the Eximas that are just gonna go in the middle of everyone and gonna one-tap you anyway. You know, it's not that OP. There was a question about Titania, which actually made me a little bit excited. I think a girl asked when Titania was getting a buff, and Rebecca said that she's not getting a buff, but if they were to change something, it would obviously be Tribute, which just has to get something like an augment for her Tribute, just like Wisp has for her Reservoirs. Excel's mod, augment, make Tribute a 1 ability cast and gives all the buffs. Done. What else? I think there was one other comment. There was a guy mentioned modular frames. I can't see that coming. It would just be too OP, and if you obviously if you could choose any combination, it would be too OP. Other than that, I think there was another comment I wanted to talk about, but I just can't remember what it was. Yeah, no way remembering that now. Let me just take a look in here. If I can remember what it was. No, it's not gonna be a way. Yeah, that's what I think so far about the frame, the upcoming update, and the kind of the future of the game and what they talked about there in the dev stream. You know, that being the short future, you know, not in the long run. In the long run, who the freak knows? Hopefully they make good stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think about the dev stream. What do you think about Dante? Is it gonna be good? Are you prepared for the new disruption? I think it's gonna be kind of hard. Yeah. Give it a like, subscribe, and peace.
Till next time, friends.